Good morning. Got some stuff happening already. Let's take a look at some of these small caps first. Gappers, BTCM. We've been seeing some of these pre-market shorts set up like this pretty early. They run quite a bit and then they come right back down. Been having some of these. It's been probably the best short setups lately. SAFX. This one still going up, but probably Bitcoin related stuff because Bitcoin's breaking out. This one is a Bitcoin mining. BTCM, SAFX. What is this one? Energy. Maybe. Let's see. Multiple production facilities. All right, let's see. Plan to build out SAF production facilities, invest nearly $1 billion in renewable fuel production by 2028. So that one is energy. And energy's been running lately too. CGTX, this one looks like a biotech, therapeutic. Into phase 2 meeting with the FDA. Discussing plans for phase 3. A lot of these biotechs. MP, now this is the mineral stock that I mentioned this yesterday and, over the past several weeks. But it looks like we're going to miss it because they just got a contract with the government and it's gapping up pretty big. So unfortunately, I was waiting for a pullback, a little hold area down here, and it just is gapping massively. So probably more of a short today now. 30 bucks to 49 already in pre-market. STKH, what is this one? Looks like no news. Foods. Something about food. STKH. It says it's a consumer defensive and packaged foods in Israel. So already a gap and grab, but we'll see if we get the bounce short on it. Kellogg. Let's see, what is this? This looks like earnings. Some sort of earnings news. Kellogg to be acquired by Ferrero Group for $3.1 billion. Acquired for $23 a share. Wow. Yeah, buy high, sell higher. That is the strat. Wow, Tesla already coming back up. So that's kind of interesting. And then the RFK stuff with the food is probably going to hit some of these food companies because they can't use the sketchy preservatives and stuff like that they've been putting in the food. So I don't know if Kellogg's getting hit by that, but they're getting acquired now. Morning, Scotty. So acquired for $23 a share. Kellogg. AIRI getting a $5.4 million contract for landing gear components for the U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber. Nice little contract there. So the main thing is MP, the minerals company in California. We mentioned this one yesterday. Unfortunately, we got that news overnight, so we're not going to be able to buy it now. So for some of these swings, we just got to be more aggressive on buying them, because you never know what's going to happen. Can't be too early still, but got to find that right balance. Just do it. Just do it. So I'll just show this. This was interesting. There's a trader that nailed this short yesterday on BMNR. Just mention that really quick. This is the trade. So he says made roughly 10 million, biggest trade of his career. And he paid 350,000 in borrows to do the short. So we know we had that, it had that offering. So he hit it perfectly. Now I don't know, you can't, obviously he's not shorting it after the offering. He's adding after the offering, so he's getting in before the offering. So let me see if I can make this bigger. Yeah, so there we go. He's got some ads in pre-market, really hitting it on the open, adding after the offering comes out, and then just covering really nicely down there into the lows. He's got a support line right there. So pretty crazy. I don't know how you hit this like that. He probably was coming in with a swing idea, and then the offering happened. So that's what I imagine happened. It's hard for me to short the open like that, but that's basically what he did. It looks like he got most of his size right around the open. And I'll pull the chart up in a second, but there's a trend break there, and it's actually breaking out. It's breaking out on a trend DTL line. So it's a trend breakout, and he's shorting into the breakout heavily. So you can see there's so many arrows right here that the screen just turns black, because these arrows have a black border. So that's how many arrows are stacked right there. So it looks like most of his size was right out of the gate. Now, if you're rigging the stock, that's exactly what you would do. You would sell into a key breakout area. So I don't know. He got incredibly lucky on the offering news. Could he have moved the stock by slamming it? I don't think so. If that was happening, then you would see it going down as he's continues to enter. So you would see arrows lined up all the way down. But you can see it's just stacked. All of them are stacked right there. He gets some extra ads down there, and that's pretty much it. So pretty incredible trade, and just like to think about the mindset of what's he thinking whenever he's getting in right here on the breakout on the open. If you're trading huge size too, you kind of need liquidity. So you can't take certain trades. You need a certain amount of volume. So you have to enter into those high liquidity zones so you're not impacting the stock price. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, we have this trend line right here, pretty perfect trend line. And it breaks out, so he's shorting the breakout of this trend line. Obviously, this thing's up quite a bit from $3 to 160 about over a few days. So it's a clear short. Yeah, there was tons of liquidity. Yeah, insane amount of liquidity here. So basically, he's shorting the breakout. That is a really difficult thing for me to want to try. Because what if it just kept going? Then what? I don't know how you do a trade like that. I don't get it. I don't get shorting the open. People do it. So let's see exactly the timing of that offering. So we're looking at the 9th. All right. So they had two. Stop at last swing high. Yeah, that's not much room. Not really much room. So at 8 o'clock, they said they closed their previous offering. And then at 9:41, I don't know if this is the most updated timestamp. There might be the filing might have come out a little bit sooner than that. But the TOS news says 9:41 they filed for a mixed shelf offering. $2 billion. $2 billion. So yeah, basically right out of the open, they filed for that $2 billion offering. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of like it better if it's more of a wait for the failed breakout move and then get it short down here and then risk high day. That seems like a better idea to me. I mean, obviously, he knows what he's doing. But if there wasn't an offering here, what stops us from going higher? What stops it from just popping up a little bit more? And then if you're risking previous day's high, you get stopped. So it's 10%. And then, see, I would have thought maybe he would risk the ultimate high, like 160, because then you're not going to stop out. If you have the swing mindset, it's going to come down. You just have to prevent a blow up, basically. And you have to take a stand somewhere. But I don't know what his risk was. It seems like the previous day's high was a little bit tight. So Scotty says stop at last swing high. Which, yeah, I guess would be, it's either the previous day high or this high from 7.3. But regardless, that's always the question on these P&L posts. What was the risk? Yeah, exactly. How much did you risk? It seems like with the short selling, the risk reward is usually something like 1 to 2, 1 to 1 a lot of times. And then if you get nice follow through, it's 1 to 3. So the win rate, though, is super high. So that's the appeal on the short selling. If you pick the right risk, it's going to be hard to stop out, and you don't get chopped up in all this nonsense. So this eventually probably would have faded back anyways. So let's say you risk up here, risking something like 25% to make 50%. And then you have a maybe 80-90% win rate on it. You got a 2 to 1 risk reward. That kind of makes sense. And it's easy to execute like that. It's hard to get, super precise, perfect timing and risk, only 10%. So yeah, that's the big question. The other question is, how many times did he try this trade? Did he try it the previous day too? And then, I don't know, if you short the open on this day, you get squeezed. So did he try in the open over here and stop out and lose 500,000? And did he try the day before that? We just don't know all this stuff. So then with the wider risk idea And then the swing mindset, you could have entered the day before, risk up here, risk the 25%, and still been right. You could have done the same thing on day 2. So it doesn't matter which day you get in on. Eventually you're right. You just have the stop to prevent a blow up. So in this strategy, again, it needs to be high win rate. You can't be trying that over here too early. So yeah, that's the questions. It's awesome to see people banking like that, but we don't have the whole story either. We don't know if he's green on this ticker or not. He might have got his money back. Or he's up huge. But I don't think he would have tried over here too early. Usually he does wait for a few legs up before he starts trying this stuff like this. So this one had 2 legs up, but they were pretty insane legs. So there we go. Moral of the story, if you want to be the best short seller, you just short the breakout. Done. It works 60% of the time, every time. No, it works 100% of the time, 60% of the time. Every time. We have the airlines gapping up. Dallas Airlines, United Airlines. Delta Airlines. Oh, Delta Airlines. I said Dallas. Yep. Earnings. AMD is up. MP, honestly, this looks like it's probably going to be a big short today. It's a pretty wild gap up. You know, there's going to be profit takers on this thing. I just hit the trend break here on MP. Sig Meta made its target already. Boom. Wow. Nice pullback on MP. Beautiful. Probably goes much lower. Hopefully I get a bounce short. I'm already out, but I'll get back in on a bounce. Whoa, UNH cracked. Tesla bouncing back big time. We'll see if it can sustain. It's still under this trend line. Tesla's still holding under this bigger trend line. Pull it up real quick here. Yeah, it's kind of a big trend line here. I bet if this thing reclaims, we're gonna be ripping. I'm kind of hoping the market pulls back a little bit. Now it's set up some super nice swings. Yeah, this MP move reminds me of GameStop a little bit. Back whenever it had a big gap up. And then it turned into a massive red day. It's always sell the news. Yeah, I'm at a little pop and fail so far. Coinbase holding up really well on the trend break. Bitcoin's going to be breaking out. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. We hit all-time highs yesterday. We're getting a little pullback from Bitcoin. I like the flags near the breakout levels. Usually best case scenario for risk reward. So if it can flag for a while, that'd be best case scenario for all these crypto plays. Coin breaking out of this flag. Yeah, MP maybe just fades all day. Not getting a bounce yet for a reshort. Still has some time. All right, let's see. Let me check on the alerts. We have hymns. Oh, okay, here we go. Hood and core weave. SIG alerts. See what we got. Okay, hood's on top of a trend line, so maybe I want that to break first. Core weave, what do we got on this one? This one's sort of in a downtrend. Threatening to break down. Take a stab at core weave. Might work. Hood came back quite a bit. Core weave potential third day down, third day surge down, and it's trying to crack a support. It's sort of in a descending wedge. Lost connection. Had to cancel positions and orders. Dang. Looking for that next leg down on MP. Gonna try hood short too. Kind of like this failure looking action on the 10-minute. It looks like a big top wick. So I'm risking the wick. See if we can hit the target or not. I am gonna need that bigger target though. See what it does. Small caps, not much I can do in small cap right now. A lot of gapping craps. Got a short amount of the, or in pre-market, pretty early to catch those. All right, hood giving a little bit of follow through so far. I want this green target line, pretty much. New Gen short hood at 94.89. We'll see if it wants to crack. It's kind of pulling back to this trend line. But that's how it was the other day too. It pulled back to that trend line here, and then it broke it. Short weakness, should have waited for a bounce. Maybe. It's hard to say sometimes. Sometimes it just keeps going. Sometimes it bounces first. Especially around the open. Things are moving pretty quick. Wow, Hertz is up. So I ended up taking a swing on Hertz too the other day. Around $7. Risking this huge flag. Just do the obvious thing. So Hertz is... It had I think it was like a hedge fund or a billionaire investor or something. Bought it back in April, and it's been flagging since. So I ended up buying it in this consolidation for the swing, risking the breakdown of that flag, and I want it to break out over $10 at least. But Hertz is getting a nice push here. All right, our trades, CoreWeave and Hood, are working out so far. So yeah, I have no plan on selling Hertz until it breaks out of this flag. You know, maybe 12, 13, 15 area. Hood working out nicely. So it did break the trend. We'll see if it can keep going or not. Not sure. Trying to hold out for that green target. I do love it when the market flip-flops because our strategies, the way I like to trade, it just works so good because I'm never in these trades for very long, but we get those nice moves and then we lock it in and then wait for the next nice move to happen. Everything just seemed like it was super bullish. And now everything's pulling back really hard, so doesn't really matter. Hold for oversold. Covered it. Nice job. Nice job on Hood. Might take mine too. Yeah, I'll take both of mine off here. Hood and core weave. Shorts. Sweet. Yeah, that's the thing. These can reverse really easily, so seems like these moves, the initial moves are pretty predictable, but then after that, who knows? Look at that. Target hitting on core weave. Off the SIG entry. Take a look at the Hood one. Yeah, Hood is a little more tricky because of the bounce. The trick is, too, with some of these, especially around the open, you got to be more reactive. But if you get the wick, and I like to trade on the 10-minute because it just smooths everything out. But we got that wick on Hood on the trigger candle. So I didn't get in right away. I waited for that wick. And then when the wick started coming back, then I got in and I risked the wick. That was kind of a big wick, so got to be careful with that. But the idea is it tried to bounce back up and it failed. So now our risk is super defined. We can get in there and try to hold out for this target. And then if I was getting into the bounce, then the yellow target is more likely the place to get out a lot of times. If I get in closer to the close of the previous candle, then the green target is what I'm going for. Amazon pulling back too. PLTR pulling back. UNH cracked a bit. So UNH really testing this bottom trend line. It's been in this wedge forever. And this is the first time it looks like it's kind of cracked that wedge to the bottom side. It is reclaiming though. I'm looking to buy this. I don't know, I wanted to see a shakeout to the downside. You know, like come down to the 290s and then reclaim. So I was gonna load it up on the reclaim, but we'll see if it can do that. Maybe it reclaims a bit sooner. Dogs is cracking, or D-Dog is cracking, yeah. Yeah, so I'm waiting for that D-Dog setup too. This one's kind of a wild one, but this is it's the EP setup, so that's how they work. Now we've seen these fill the gap and still work. A lot of times they'll just hold this gap up and then keep going. But this one is filling the gap, it looks like. And it can still work on the gap fill. So it might want to just fill the gap and then reclaim back up. And then I'll load up into it. So some kind of moving average reclaim or trend reclaim is what we want to see. So like, you know, this trend reclaim, we want to reclaim this trend. Maybe start buying it around 145 if it can get back up. Yeah, the other thing that's happening is Trump is putting tariffs on copper. So let's just look at X for a reference, because X is steel, and he put tariffs on steel not that long ago. Now, steel has been pushing new highs. This is X, United States Steel Corp. But this thing is just continuing to push all-time highs. And if you simply bought whenever he announced the tariffs on steel, then you'd be up pretty massively on that. 30-40%. So we're probably going to try something similar with this copper tariff. Going to be scoping out some good copper plays. Also might fire up the small caps. We'll have to see. A lot of gap and craps in the small caps. Sexy short seller blew up again the other day. Hate to see it. So he did blow up on proc on the 8th. Yeah, this one just was insane. Just up, basically just up. You can't short it. Oh man, Nike's already back up. I was gonna open a swing on Nike, but man, freaking tough. Was hoping this would pull back a bit more. Breakout pullback. Probably gonna rebuy Tilray if it pulls back properly. Hertz going higher. Up to 840 now. Might have to double up that position. Hopefully it'll pull back and consolidate a little bit. Reshorting hood. Interesting. I'll pass on this one. No more SIGs for now. Yeah, best case for Hertz is consolidation at the highs. If this can flag at the highs for a few days and then break out. Surprised MP is still hanging in there. I thought that would pull back by now. Yeah, maybe if it cracks this little trend line, I'll try it. We'll see what it does. Hood, you like the reshort, huh? I could see maybe breakdown pullback on that one. I like it whenever these fail my little moving average. So if it tries to reclaim the moving average and then comes back under the moving average, maybe it goes lower. I think I'll sit that one out. See if these small caps are doing anything good. ABVE just straight up. Throw that one on the watch list. This one's a potential bounce short of review op, but it's gonna have to get over review op pretty soon. I'm trying a little swing short on Bud Light on this trend break. Still working. Needs to give a pullback though. See, what I want to happen here is exactly this scenario right here. So we got pullback under this moving average, holding for a little bit, eventually just cracked right there. So we'll see if it can do it. Not risking a lot on this. I really just want it to come back maybe under that next moving average. Oh my God. Cut hood small gain. All right, nice. No strikes is good. I still think maybe hood breakdown pullback. It's kind of still pulling back. So there's a nice little trend line here. And it's pulling back to it. Hasn't touched it yet. So ideally, yeah, it does touch it and then does another little trend break. Maybe it'll come down more. I'm not sure. Meta, it's quite a pullback on Meta. Man. I'll be watching this bigger trend break too on Meta. Got a really nice looking trend line here. And, you know, it's had a nice green day yesterday, but now it gave it all back. I don't want an aggressive pullback to the trend line. That's more of a dip buy. So we'll see what it does. UNH signal. It's kind of up a lot. So maybe I'll give it a try on a pullback. I do like the bigger picture buy on it too. So this does align with what I think should happen, especially with this reclaim of this wedge. This might be marking the bottom here with this news headline. Health insurers are becoming chronically uninvestable. That's how you know the bottom's in. When the news starts talking bad about it, you get Kramer coming out and saying, you should be selling your stock. You got to sell it. It's the best time to buy. Like Tim Walz called the bottom of Tesla when he went on stage and was celebrating the downfall of Tesla. That was the dead bottom. Yeah, I kind of like the UNH idea. I like it for a swing anyways. I might try it in a few minutes. Let's see how this does on a pullback. Looks like crypto's kind of getting rejected right now. There's no way it fakes out. But yeah, that thing just poked right over the high, the all-time high, and pulled back. So now if it flags here, then we could get a real breakout. Coin will be probably the play. Breakout pullback on coin. If it can pull back to the 360s, hold right there, give another breakout, that would be sick. Let's take a look at UNH. We might have a trade, maybe. Looks like the hood breakdown pullback is working now. I'll try a little bit of UNH, not too much. Scalp on hood. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, MP is just not gonna give me my second short. Just kind of getting late in the day now. Could still work. No more signals. Had a few good ones. So I was hoping this would break down a little sooner. Okay, UNH is working now. Trading the signal. Netflix selling off. Yeah, thank you, Sig. May I have another? Let's see. Netflix. Wow. That one looks like a dip buy. Why are they selling off? Probably some BS. So they got an analyst upgrade. 1390. So the news it's going down on good news. Imagine that. But it looks like it pulled back to a trend line. Pretty big trend line. So it does look like it would be a dip buy. Sharp pullbacks to trend lines are dip buys usually. Yeah, this one usually doesn't trade very good for the day trades, but sometimes it does. This could be one of those cases. Spy near high day. Interesting. All right, well, I gotta get going. I think we're gonna call it there. I am about to sell UNH. Maybe gonna buy some Netflix. We'll see. But good luck, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow.